First of all, how long has the Kelty Musical Association been up and running?
Well, funnily enough, purely by coincidence, this is their 80th anniversary. So, apart from a couple of lapses during the war years, that's been 80 years solid.
I believe it's a very special year this year. What can you tell me about that?
Well, apart from the 30th anniversary of us doing Oklahoma, my parents, who have been actively involved with the company for, would you believe, 121 years between them.
Wow.
My father, he's currently the president. He's been an active member for 61 years, and this is my mother's 60th year, so not many people can boast that claim to fame, and we're very, very proud to have that achievement at Kelty Musical this year.
That's absolutely brilliant. Wow. Without giving too much away, Oklahoma, what's the basic story?
Well, it's the good old-fashioned Rodgers and Hammerstein love story of boy meets girl, boy loses girl, and who knows what happens at the end. You have to buy a ticket to come and see.
Yeah.
But it's one of these timeless musicals that when it ran on Broadway in the 50s, it broke all the box office records. It was probably the Les Miserables of its day, or Phantom of the Opera. It was the big talked-about show of that decade, and it's one of these shows. It's never been rewritten. It's never been updated. It purely is a timeless, classic piece of musical theatre, which appeals to all ages, from the young'uns to the old Blue Rinse Brigade, who are always delighted to see at these shows.
Now, you guys always put on a top-class performance. Can you tell us a bit about the team behind your shows?
Yeah, we've got a very strong production team this year. We're delighted to have Margaret Muffet on board, who's very well known locally in musical circles, and we've got a new choreographer this year, Claire Robertson, a friend of mine from Edinburgh, and she runs a very successful dance school over in Edinburgh, and she's kindly agreed to do this, and actually she's moved to Fife halfway through rehearsals, which was a pure coincidence. I don't know if we had anything to do with that. She's brought some great dancers over from Edinburgh and our current troupe of dancers, so we really are proud of our dancing team this year. A very strong set of principals and a wonderful, talented chorus. It just makes up for a very, very strong product, and we're looking forward to kicking off this Tuesday.
How often do you have to rehearse before your performances?
Well, can you believe we just rehearse once a week? A lot of companies rehearse 2 or 3 times a week. We do one night a week at the Halfway House. This year we've been rehearsing up in Kingseat on a Sunday night, and we fit an awful lot into these 2, sometimes 4 hours. But it's a case of keep to do and get on with it. When you walk in the door at rehearsals, you don't have time for a blether. So, you can see it as a very sociable hobby. But from my point of view, I just, from the second you walk in the door, you don't have time for a wee chat. So much so, I've got the dancers trained to just bring me up a cup of tea during the rehearsal as opposed to me stopping to go and get one.
Now, that's commitment and dedication for you.
It is that.
How many shows do you put on every year?
Just one a year. There's always been one a year. Over the 80 years, a couple of times they've diversed and done a couple of shows. And we've got a very strong troupe of people. We've done a couple of cabarets over the years as well, just fundraising events or helping out local charities, etc. We donated a few things to the Mary Leishman Foundation over the years. Mary was a huge stalwart with Kelty Musical, as most people will know. So we just do one main show in Carnegie Hall, but we're always available to help out with wee functions here and there.
Clark, I believe you're no stranger to the entertainment industry. Can you tell us a bit about your career so far?
My goodness, yeah, well, how long have you got? I started off with Carnegie Youth Theatre, would you believe, and Kelty Musical in Dunfermline. That really was my training, and I've been very fortunate to be doing it professionally for about 25 years now. But I had no college or formal training whatsoever. My training was sitting, watching the rehearsals of Kelty Musical since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and learning from the old school. The guys who were around in those days, John Smith and my dad, Brian Stewart, excellent leading men in Kelty. And now, this year, we're very lucky to have David Much and Fiona Mackenzie Barnes on board, who again, have beautiful, beautiful voices. And I think they come from the old school brigade as well, which is good. So
really back to your roots.
Oh yeah,
and the Kelty Musical Association.
I've not been involved with a Kelty show for about 24 years. I mean, if I walk down the high street or from the town, someone says, "Oh, you still in Kelty?" I used to say, "Oh, no, I don't do it anymore." But for the last few years, I've just been saying, "Yes, yes, yeah, I'm helping out this year, yes." But this is the first year I've actually been actively involved for about 24 years, I think.
Clark, what do you look out for when you're recruiting for the company?
Enthusiasm, talent, obviously, it comes into the equation. Just, it's fun, it's a hobby. At the end of the day, David, it's a hobby. No one on stage is getting paid for it. It's a lot of fun. These companies, if they break even during a run, we're quite happy. You know, it's not a financial commitment at all. It's just it's a fun hobby. You know, a good bunch of people. And we've had some people who have been in the company, apart from my parents, would be people who 30 years ago went to Oklahoma. I was involved with that, along with 3 other members, Lindsay Black, Kevin Keir, and Ruby Wiley. So that's a bit of a blast from the past. 30 years later, there's 4 of us still involved.
Where can our listeners be kept up to date with what the Kelty Musical Association is actually doing?
Well, I believe we've got a website and a Facebook page. I think that's the way to go these days, isn't it?
Yeah, Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook.
I know. We used to have lives, but not anymore. But there's a good advert in the press this week under the Carnegie Hall column, which publicises the show. But the best thing, I mean, we always put an advert in the programme for next year's show, and our secretary, Joyce Clark's always available at the end of the phone line, or my mother, whose phone number is on all the booking office flyers, etc. that you kindly gave out at the beginning of the show.
You've been in the industry for some time now, and how do people get their foot in the door and get started?
People that get started is go and see shows. That's how you learn. Just get your bum along to a seat on the Carnegie Hall or down to Alhambra, and just sit and watch shows. And you're observing, and if you see a bad show, you maybe learn what not to do. And if you see a good show, you soak up some of the positive signs from that. You're always learning. You're always being creative, and it's a fun hobby. And as you said, getting your foot in the doors. There's some great young groups in the film, like the Carnegie Youth Theatre and the Why Not Theatre Group. And then, of course, there's Kelty Musical. From our ages start from about 15 upwards. I think it's just watching learnings, even watching musicals on the telly. The old South Pacifics and the Oklahomas on a Sunday afternoon.
Clark, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. All the best for the show. And I hear a little rumour that we have some tickets to give away for the Tuesday performance. Kate Davidge is going to give them away on Saturday between 1 and 3. So make sure you're listening to Radio West Fife.
Well, I actually don't have a ticket for Tuesday, so you may get a phone call from me.
Are you allowed to win them? I know the presenters at the station aren't.
Well, I won't tell anybody if you don't.
You'll have to phone up with a fake name or something.
Good luck.
But we'll suss you out. Anyway, Clark, thanks very much. All
Cheers,
the best.
dear. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.